Welcome to the International Physical Education and Sports Colloquium. I'm Evelyn Gnanam George, the moderator for our first keynote speaker today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in our live YouTube streaming on Institute of Teacher Education Malaysia International Languages Campus Channel, IPGKBA. The theme for the colloquium is Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi. It is with great pleasure for me to begin with a brief introduction of our esteemed speaker. Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi is currently working as a professor at the Hungarian University of Physical Education and Sports Science in Budapest, Hungary. His expertise are the theory and practice of leisure and recreation, geography of sport, tourism and recreation, and project development. When it comes to his research interests, community development to improve the quality of life of the citizens and visitors is primarily what engages his attention. Just as importantly, it is delightful to share that Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi has written numerous books and articles on recreation, geography of sport, health and tourism, promoting physical activity in Hungarian schools and leisure time is his topic for today. So, Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi, we are very excited to hear more about this topic. Without further delay, please welcome Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi.
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for the kind invitation. And I appreciate very much your philosophy, healthy body and healthy mind, which means that we are responsible to work for this kind of issues, not for the early childhood, but also in all the ages. So my presentation today is about physical education and leisure time. When I started my career, I started as being a physical education teacher in Hungarian schools. And I was very enthusiastic to teach my children for sports. But later on, I recognized I have to give some more ideas. And we also have to have the responsibility to see how children looks like. How do they come to the classroom? How do they have at home any kind of lifestyle which can support or not support the physical education processes? Next, please. So I am working at this time in Budapest, which is a very attractive city. Hopefully you have the chance to come and visit us. And also the Physical Education University is having a very new development for infrastructure, hoping that this infrastructure is giving a good background for the future teachers training education. Also, I am involved in the leisure studies program, which is relatively new. Only 20 years we are teaching, which is a very good connection to the healthy and active body and healthy mind. So I am very happy to connect this. And when I criticized a couple of years ago my physical education programs in Hungary, then we started to think what we should do for children to become more active. And then also there were some developments by the governments, different governments. And finally, in 2012, we introduced the daily physical education program, which is very unique in Europe, but also all over the world. hoping that if we keep children active in the schools, then we hope that the healthy benefits will appear very soon. Also, our faculty is responsible to make the whole Hungary active. So we started the Active Hungary campaign, supported by the government with quite a bit of money support. And also I am this time also representing the World Leisure Organization, which is also committed to develop the population's lifestyle around the world. Next, please. So I think not only in Hungary, but also many countries, we have some negative health trends. The life expectancy in Hungary is not becoming better, but it's becoming worse. And compared to the EU average, we can say that we are leading a Europe obesity leagues. It's not the #1 gold medal. So no one is giving gold medal for us because our children are becoming more fat because the unhealthy nutrition and of course the inactive lifestyle. The mortality rates is also not better. Can you imagine that in 1920s years, it was the same like in the present days. And the overweight rates that 60% of the males and 47% of the females are overweight in our country. The number of asthma and diabetes cases has been doubled. It's a very high number, and we have to really look after to decrease these numbers. And 31% children go to school without eating breakfast. I don't know how is it in your countries, but we have a lot of problems. Here you can say that 80% of children exercise regularly because of the school, but later on when they leave the schools, they will not continue being physically active. And the nutrition issues, there is a statistics that our fast food restaurants make a better budget every year, which is not very good. And also 56% are children and young people abuse their time. So they use, for example, for physiological needs to fulfill, included a lot of time to have with eating. And of course, in our modern society, globalized society, the social pressure is too big. Like you can see on the picture, the advertisement is amazing, crazy sometimes. Almost 50% of the Hungarian advertisement in the TV are on consuming food and medicine, which is very bad. Next one, please. And of course, increasing the number of electronic devices are increasing. In our national curriculum, we had to change the structure and the focuses. And it's very good to see that motor learning, physical fitness, playing games or competition were the focuses before, but now is also there's a big space for prevention, lifestyle and health improvement, which I have to say that this is a very good opportunity that physical education teachers can talk and making exercising for this kind of focuses. There is also a bipolar model. They are having physical education teachers more freedom to choose what they have to teach. And this freedom, most of the teachers use. And daily physical education program. At the beginning, we said it's a fantastic idea, and we were very happy But later on, we recognized that we don't have enough teachers, we don't have enough facilities. How are we going to solve this kind of problems? And at the beginning, we started to do more cooperations with the sport clubs outside of the schools. And several campaigns were introduced, like the Healthy Lifestyle Program. For example, the nutrition in the schools. We had to change the offers. So it's not anymore allowed to sell, for example, chips in the schools or Coca-Cola. And of course, the fluid intake, like access for water. You know, in Hungary, you can drink freely from the tub, and everyone has the access easily for water. Next one, please. And the infrastructural development. So I think we can be proud, but still is not 100%. So that's why we had to find also some other solutions. The gym itself is not enough, and the size is not enough, because sometimes we had to split these big sports halls for several classes. Like in the same time, sometimes 3 classes in the big sports halls, because the lack of time. And there was also in 2014 the national campaign called the Public Education Infrastructure Development Program. So it's good because from the budget we have got enough support building new sports halls in the schools. And the benefits you can see on the right side, we have done a research if the sports club conditions and the school conditions influences the physical skills of the children. And clearly is it influencing factor. Next one, please. New methods. So I brought some new interesting methods. How are we doing it? For example, additional PE classes model, or sports talent education model, dual career school model, or value preferred PE model. All these models are trials. Not every schools are required to do it, but there are free spaces to try it. It depends what kind of interest physical education teachers have. If they come from ball sports, of course, this teacher will teach the most ball sports. Or if this guy is coming from the fitness area, then definitely it's happening in the classroom like this. There's not so much control. It's one part is okay, on the other part is some missing. Now, in the present day, the government would like to introduce some control also in what's happening in the classroom. Is there a short film about to see what are we doing? Of course, the children like challenges, the children like jumping. And of course, if you have the opportunity, you can show this kind of techniques. And children like it. So this is some motivation issues which you can use in your classrooms. We started also new sports schools in the country, because the talent should be should have more opportunities. And these are, for example, some schedules how to do it. And you can see that in the morning PE training, and then in the afternoon some PE training. The physical education classes are supporting their interest in sports. And then you can see that the school time starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, or even earlier, for example, the swimmers, and it's finishing later afternoon, 6 o'clock p.m. And is it supported by the Hungarian Olympic committees? Next one, please. And there is also a new thing. Only 10 years we introduced the NetBased fitness control, which means that we do different physical tests, and all the schools are required to do these tests, and it gives an idea what's happening in our schools. And it's also a good control for the children themselves, if they can reach a higher results at the end of the year, or to stay the same level. And it motivates mostly the children. Sometimes teachers don't like it, because children start competition using all these test results. And competition in physical education is, on one part is good, but on the other part is breaking the untalented or less talented students. We can go on. Here is also a new model that you can even use physical education in the classroom, because we can use all the spaces. And here is a model, a short video maybe you can show. The children can do physical education if they don't have space, even in the classroom. Is it more difficult? But you can do some exercises.
Felszerelés hiánya van a Zsoltinak, és hiányzik a kanyarodás. Köszönöm, milyen véglembe. Öltöző felelősök jöjjenek ki.
Okay, at the beginning, they give a short report that we are ready to start exercises. And the music is on, of course, to motivate children. And you can do warm-ups in the classroom, but also some little exercising using the classic equipment. Okay, please go on, because the video is a bit longer. If you are interested, we can share this presentation with you. Next one, please. A new model which I would like to share with you is supported by the European Union, and we call it the green physical education. So, you know, in nowadays, environmental protection is #1 issue sometimes in our politics, and also each level, schools, institutions, factories should be responsible to work sustainable. And I think the sustainable physical education can be one of these example, going outside and using the nature in the sustainable method. And Erasmus Plus, if you put the keywords, even we could do, for example, Hungary and Malaysia, a common project. You know, if we have a common interest, we can do it supported by European Union, which is good to develop competences in the schools, or personnel activity plan. So like asking the children to learn how to make their own training plans, or to share best practices. There is a website where you can see all the models. And for the cooperation is very good, because we have at this time some cooperation with Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, and other countries to share and exchange ideas. How can we do physical education more effective? Or here is increase participants' confidence. All this we know exactly that we try to teach during our physical education programs. And of course, to promote European cooperation, which is the idea is no matter from which country you are from, you have the common interest to develop the healthy body and healthy mind, like is your philosophy. Next one. There's also a very new initiative that exercising in outdoor areas only in the last 10 years, we developed several thousand workout places and playgrounds for not only young children, but also young people and even elderly people and disabled people. And it says that the sports and outdoor market in Hungary, published by Statista, will grow up to 13%. Is it a lot or not? Maybe in China is faster, but in our country is a good trend. So we appreciate that very much. And the advantage is that these workout places are for free. And the communities are responsible to run it. If there is any damage, then the community every year has a control, or even there could be an instant repair, then they are doing it. And you can see that the market volume is that much and contributing even to the economy. So that's a great thing to have this kind of facilities. Next one, please. We have done an interview with teachers and recreation managers if they are satisfied with the present trends. And the positive, of course, more opportunities for alternative programs. The freedom, what I mentioned before, is very optimal for them. And the sport clubs are more active this time because the cooperation between schools and sport clubs, that more sport clubs can register more members, and also supported mostly by the local communities. New health-oriented guidelines and measurable standards. So I think the know-how exists that how we can test the physical abilities. And of course, the results are showing us some example. I am over the average, or these are the best results which I can achieve in that age. And some negative we have as well. So we are, of course, missing some better salaries. Like all over the world, teachers are not paid the best. And sometimes the lack of facilities, lack of facilities means we have relatively a lot of sport facilities, but the sport arenas sometimes should be splitted, and it's not enough space for crowded classes. And more classes, children have to stay longer in the school. The new school system is like the children are required to stay from 8 until afternoon. It's a bit less than in some Asian schools, but sometimes the schools are not prepared to keep children in the afternoon useful in the school. So there are no teachers for afternoon classes. Health-oriented physical education in constant measurements, which requires a lot of time and special equipment. If they do the physical test during the classes, it keeps busy the teachers and the children as well. And they don't know when they can do the other programs. Not enough free sport activities for young people in the communities. So I think communities should be also should offer more sports and free sports for children. Next one. We have also this kind of obstacles, like I mentioned, the salaries. And we have a society when children like more pushing the buttons on their mobile phones and they don't have time for anything. They are becoming inactive. And also if they come to the physical education class, the decreasing motivation can be, we can see. And we have to spend more time as physical education teachers to motivate the children. Next one. And what is the future vision? So who will win? The hamburger or Nike? We don't know. Or the mobile phones, or the advertisement using the fitness rooms. I think this is a big challenge. Next one. As a summary, we can say that we have now, with physical education, a better position among the school subjects. Before it was a big problem. First of all, mathematics is the number one. Now maybe among the number ones, physical education is there. Better PE teachers education, so our universities having also better facilities, better and stronger programs. I cannot say you that more students would like to register for our programs, but definitely those students are very committed. And we have not just internal, but also external support, like EU-supported serious sports project or the Erasmus different projects, which gives the opportunity to do further developments. Modernizing the higher education, sometimes we have a projector even in the physical education rooms that can give not only practices, but also theories for children, and research is more there. So the science involving scientific results in the physical education programs is more active. So we hope that the physical education teachers accepting more the new results. And the negative, the lifestyle trends will not change. We are not very optimistic, but we try our best way. Environmental influence, which means before we could do easily outdoor activities in May, June, but now because the high temperatures, I know that Malaysia has high temperature outside, but we are not prepared for this kind of over 40 degrees temperatures. Environmental influence will affect more strongly, more storms and more problems with the water surfaces, which will give some obstacles to organize outdoor activities. For example, skiing. Almost every school had a ski camp before, but today is not anymore because the lack of snow. Fitness level will be secured by external tools. I think fitness level is one thing within physical education, but we hope that the tools, what we use, are always offering new opportunities. So thank you very much. And if you want to have further information, we would like kindly invite to our country. Please just drop an email and we can contact you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Miklos Banhidi, for sharing your take on a very informative topic. I like the program that you had in your country, such as the physical education in the classroom and the green physical education for sustainable development. I think that this is a very good program that we in Malaysia can carry out. Hey, doctor, I just need a brief explanation about the EU supported program for physical education teachers. Can you briefly explain to us the program, doctor?
Yes, I think EU is not a bad construction. So I am a supporter for EU, and EU is committed to solve some problems like physical activity levels, inactivity, solve these problems around Europe, and we see also the negative trends. And Europe developed some activities, a grant, quite a big grant. We call it Erasmus Plus. There's A1, A2, A3 programs. If you just go on internet, you can find out. What I am doing personally as a leisure person, that we do some activities even in the summertime in our school breaks, inviting young people to different camps or training programs, fun activities, and is it all supported by European Union? For example, I want to tell you that EU is supporting the travel costs, EU is supporting hotels, the training activities, food, and for children is optimal. And the good thing is that it's not only within the European countries, but if you have at least 2 European partners, then you can invite, for example, Malaysia, if we have common interests. So this time, our friend from Malaysia, Dr. Lee Kwam Meng, he initiated a training program, and we have done it. But it was too late to involve Malaysians. But hopefully next time we can do it.
Okay, thank you.
That's not that difficult to apply, you know, but we have to have the idea.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much. Okay, thereupon, that concludes our first keynote speaker session. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have learned and enjoyed the presentation. If you have any question for our speaker, please feel free to send it through the link given below. The speaker will be delighted to answer questions via email. Okay, I'd like to once again thank our speaker and not to forget our technical team here at the Institute of Teacher Education International Languages Campus, IPG KBA, Mr. Satya, Mr. Daini, and Mr. Fazi. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for the next section. Till then, jumpa lagi. See you again.